It's all medicinal. There. Yeah, now I can click the go live button. YouTube's been funny. Beer check? No. We have whiskey check today. No beer check today.
Whiskey.
Not I.
All right.
Not I. I'm too good.
I'll turn
for
my
beer
phone
or
off.
whiskey.
Ooh, that's a good message. All right. Welcome to How They Got Hacked, episode 22. Tom Lawrence.
Xavier D. Johnson.
Maurice Nash.
Yes. And, something DEF CON happened. So we weren't here last week.
Something DEF CON happened.
Summer camp.
Summer camp.
Oh, boy. And was it a camp? It was a lot. It was more than I anticipated.
It was 7 days ago, and the guy still doesn't have his voice back. He's propping himself up with Red Bulls.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. It's one of those conferences where, like, okay, so can I be really, like, transparent here?
Yeah, why not?
Want to get real right in the beginning.
That's what they want. They want to know the real about that.
I am not that much of a people person. I love you guys.
Yeah.
But strangers, not so much. Especially drunk, cranky, from all over the world strangers who cough and sneeze.
And cough and sneeze on you.
Oh, and they cough and sneeze on you for sure. And then, like, just the strangers of Vegas as well, right? They're just an eclectic group of people that are there for a reason that is not business. So when you get there, you have to be prepared to interact with humans. And then also, I don't know about you guys, but I do about 0.2 miles a day, right? Like, I'm literally, like, at my computer, right? I think the 0.2 miles is walking to my car, walking back to my car, and walking into the house. Like, I take the dog out for poops. So yeah, DEF CON is a lot of walking. I did about 10 to 12 miles a day on average, a day. And that makes your feet hurt in new and unique ways. And those are two big things of DEF CON that if you've never been there, you have to make sure you're mentally prepared for. Beyond that, it is an awesome con. I had a lot of fun. I don't know if you guys follow me on Instagram or Twitter, but I took a lot of pictures with a lot of heroes, people who I were looking forward to seeing and speaking with.
I've seen you with everyone from Jay Street to Darren Kitchen, the whole A crew.
There you go. It was extremely fun. I got to hang out with MG, the guy who makes the OMG cable.
Okay.
He was a very, very exciting person to hang out with. Seeing Darren Kitchen is always fun, especially because he doesn't remember me immediately, but then when I tell him the story of how I got my first security job, he's like, You, hey, I need you to tweet this thing that you're telling me about so that we can, repost it. So it's fun. I got to see Jay Street, which is, always, he's, a huge inspiration to me.
He's great.
Jason E. Street was, one of the first people I saw on YouTube.
He's a great public speaker, too. I mean, he really puts together such good talks. I've watched it, and I've recommended to a lot of people. It makes you think differently about physical security when you listen to his talks.
Yep. He's a very, very cool person. I got my awkward hug this year. He gave me a thing I want to show off here. I don't know if you guys can see it, but that is a DEF CON Groups coin directly from his pocket. I don't know how many of those are in existence, but since I run DC313, he felt inclined. And, it's awesome. I felt pretty satisfied that happened. Oh, there you go. Look.
We got the light on.
Yeah, you gotta get a light on it. There we go. This is what happens when you go live.
Improv.
This is live stuff. We got a few other props on the table.
Oh, nice.
Boom.
That's perfect.
Look at that.
DEF CON Groups. Show the back if you like. Maybe we tried too hard.
There we go.
There you go. And those, I think, are all the DEF CON groups all over the world. And then I got a goon coin up there, the blue thing.
The blue coin.
That goon coin was something I was given because I knew the answer to a trivia question out of a room of 20,000 hackers, and he just tossed me this coin. And I leveraged that coin into skipping. I socially engineered my way to the front of the line for swag, which if you go to DEF CON, that's the longest line in the world. Whatever you pull up there, I'll explain. Go for it.
All right, we'll go.
So shout out to Justin Monteblano. I don't know how to say your last name, but he slipped this in numerous bags. The TIT group here, the Transportation Insecurity Trust. This was a notice of baggage molestation. It's full of all fun things. It's kind of a kick on TSA. I'm not sure if you guys follow the culture or if you've seen the TSA pranks that were being played at DEF CON, but people dressed up as TSA agents and started to act like they were going through hackers' bags and stuff. It was amazing.
Thanks to our lovely hand model Tom.
There you go. So it was fun. It was a lot of walking. Got some other trinkets up here, but DEF CON is always fun. It's like going to a family reunion. Like you see people that you're looking forward to see all year. You're talking to people about what they talked to you about last year and how you've taken action on that. And I think that that's about the coolest thing. And this year, I made a lot of new friends, and I wasn't really expecting to. A lot of new friends. We went out with about 12 people from Detroit, which was huge. You don't realize how hard it is to keep up with 12 people until you have to. And then we probably made like another 30 friends while we were out there, just based on DC 313, just based on being friendly, and yeah, it was amazing. I had a very good time. Yeah.
So that was DEF CON. I didn't go, but he went. I'm gonna probably go next year. I've been saying it for a while, and I need to get there.
I didn't make it either. I really wanted to go. Too bad I couldn't scrape up the funds. I couldn't sell enough nudes. No one wanted to see my.
I'll say this: if we can get more than 2 or 3 people all on the same page, then we'll just get like a suite, throw like a banging party, right? Because that's what the other DC groups did.
We need a How They Got Hacked party.
See, and you know what? Shout out to you, How They Got Hackers. I don't know if you're watching right now, but there were at least 10 of you at DEF CON, and you were not afraid to walk up to me and say hello. And so, like, I'm not going to rip down names because I'm tired right now. I'm sure you are too, but you know who you are. Thank you very much. It is appreciated.
Yeah. And that might be, at the rate of growth it's kind of exponential the way YouTube grows. It takes a long time to start. We're doing everything we can to be promoting it. I'm promoting it on my channel. I tweeted it before we started, trying to get everyone on there. But as this gets exponentially bigger, we're hoping we'll have enough of a following by next year that, we'll be able to pull this off and actually put together a good party for people. That would be awesome.
Right.
Definitely for that.
What's this week in hacker news?
Oh,
there was news of a measles outbreak in Las Vegas. Good news is, I think I got the measles shot. So, +1 for immunization.
The measles?
Yeah, I mean, it's Vegas. They got a little bit of everything there.
They got a little bit of everything.
Have you heard of anyone having the measles?
People are
unvaccinated people.
You got to think people come from all over the world to that place. It's Vegas. Yeah, people are coming from like South Africa. Like, I'm going to Vegas.
Maybe the CDC needs to relocate.
That's a great test bed. It's so dirty there that when you touch random things, your hands turn black.
Yeah.
It's so dirty there that the concrete that is otherwise gray is black.
I don't touch random things in Vegas. I've learned.
Dude, New York's like that too.
Yeah,
it is. Yeah. New York's just dirty.
Yeah.
Gritty would be probably the New Yorker term.
That's a good word.
Oh, our national treasure. I say that because we're talking about Tavis here. A look at the Windows 10 exploit Google Zero disclosed this week. This privilege escalation goes back and has lurked 20 years.
Wow.
So there's going to be just a massive stuff of pwnage. But Tavis Sovereignty of Project Zero released an exploit kit called CTF Tool, which uses and abuses Microsoft Text Services Framework, which is like a language framework, in ways to effectively get anyone root, i.e. system admin, on unpatched Windows 10. But this actually goes back to other ones as well. And it sounds like Microsoft was a little behind on getting this patched, as in the release was not timed the way Microsoft wanted to do. They, if I understood right, they were asking for more time, and Tavis is like, no. And he's known for doing this before. And I did a little bit of reading, and there was a discussion that I thought kind of dovetails into this. Apparently, there's a legal team to protect Project Zero, just dedicated to Project Zero because of the things like that. But and this is that big debate. Should they have waited and give Microsoft more time, or did they give them enough time for stuff like this? And this comes down to most any of these hacks that come out. But the goal is, it's not like we should just give these people infinite time and rope, because trust me, people who aren't Tavis are also looking for these type of vulnerabilities and maybe actively exploiting them in the wild. So they may be just low-key being exploited, being targeted, and people just don't know. Of course, the other side of it is, if you have RDP, please don't expose it directly to the internet ever. So we've learned that with a few other flaws that were not found by Tavis, but the same concept.
And it's happening.
It's happening.
It's happening. I just looked at a server today, RDP on the edge. It's still happening.
So many people have RDP on the edge. Don't put RDP on the edge. Just sorry. I know that other remote access tools that are convenient cost money. That sucks. But it really sucks having your shit pwned. That's
what's wrong with having
terrible.
zero tier? What's wrong with having zero tier and setting up a firewall rule that says that port only goes over 172.
Yeah. There's ways you can mitigate this.
One immediate way to do it, right?
So. But yeah, once again, that's that come up, and I'll actually, if you want, I'll actually share this as well. This is the Project Zero link. These are all in the show notes here, but he calls it down the rabbit hole, and step by step by step, how deep of a dive this was. Tavis walks you through every step he did to get to this conclusion. Wow.
Well, that's good research.
It's good research. It's good if you're interested in doing pen testing. It's a deep dive into how the pen testing system or how the process for pen testing works.
Like, see, this is even deeper than pen testing, though. This is like flat out bug hunting.
Yeah.
Like, this is, I want to look for an OS level bug without a fuzzer.
Mm-hmm.
And he just caught a sniffer. He just caught a trail and was like, I wonder what goes down this one. Tick, tick, tick. Oh my God, system.
Yeah. So, this is a nice, long, detailed write-up. Stuff on GitHub. You can go through this yourself. You can go through the whole process.
So one of the things that I found myself asking even up to a few years ago was, how do I find 0 days? There you go. If you are at home right now and you're like me back in the day, like, hey, how do I find 0 days? This is how 0 days are found.
Yeah. It's just stepping through, poking through the system, step by step, inch by inch.
This is the perfect blog post to read.
Yeah, that's why I left it in there, because, the nice debrief from the Ars Technica article is good, but what's better is if you want to get that deeper understanding is going through those details and step by step. And, these are those steps. When all these people do these write-ups, it's really good because that kind of helps you learn how they looked at it, the thought process that went into it, the actual steps that went into it, which ultimately, we need more people hunting these bugs. Because trust me, the bad guys are not doing these beautiful write-ups. They're trying to do it and keeping the notes for themselves. Tavis is trying to protect us by doing these deep dives, finding stuff, reporting it to Microsoft so it gets patched before someone else finds it. And boy, that's a deep one, though.
Yeah.
As much as I'm impressed, there's probably still somebody out there that may have found it.
Yeah. Oh, I'd imagine it's probably another way to skin the cat, right?
Yep. I'm going to jump down a second, though, because this is directly related to this. And this is the new, what does ASL stand for to you?
American Sign Language.
American Sign Language, or you're old enough to remember
age, sex, location.
Age, sex, location, man. When we were talking on the chat, that was always the first thing you typed, right?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
I still don't even know what age, saint, location. I don't even know what you guys are saying.
Oh no, that was when you go
Back
into
in
a
the
chat
chat
room
Mm-hmm.
what?
Yahoo Messenger. Was
I guess you were talking
then.
to a girl, and so
well, you hope
became,
you were talking.
You
to
hope
a
you were
girl.
talking to a girl. You became interested, and the first question is ASL. What's your age, sex, and location?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Anyone who's old enough like me and.
There you go.
You can tell there's an age gap here. But now it stands for Azure Security Lab. This is a new announcement from Microsoft. And it's a good announcement for people that want to get into pen testing. So Azure Security Lab is a new space for Azure research and collaboration. So basically they took and set aside a section of Azure. So it's Azure, but kind of isolated to its own block. So you can apply to be a pen tester. Why would you do that? Well, let me open up this other tab over here to kind of give you an idea of maybe why you'd want to do that. You can sign up to be a researcher, and they are paying out dearly, as in virtual machine escapes are $300,000 payouts. Denial of service, $50,000. Escalation of privileges, $300,000. The bounty sets and everything,
that's large.
They are laying it out.
It sounds like they're ready to tell you, I'm sorry, that's not a vulnerability. That's the way that this was supposed to work.
It's an undocumented feature.
Only for them to patch it 2 days later.
Yeah.
They're pretty good about this. So, I mean, there is a lot of things on here. And Microsoft's been good about paying out because they also released recently their top list of paid outs for vulnerabilities. So they're pretty good on this, but they have a lot to talk about here in this whole Azure Security Lab. I like they set it up as a completely separate lab. You register for it, you get access to it, and kind of like a capture to flag, they have a program you go through where they give you scenarios to set up and then break it. So they'll help you with the stack. So you don't have to try and build the stack yourself to poke at it. They'll help you with, this is the stack, this is the goal. We want to see if you can escalate this. Like, it's a secure setup, we think. Prove us wrong. Proving us wrong, we'll pay you some good money for it. I think this is just Microsoft getting serious about security, especially with Azure. They realize Azure is their next bet. That's where Microsoft is going. So they're doubling down.
Xbox.
It ain't Xbox. So yeah, it's Microsoft getting serious about this, and we're seeing, all these bug bounty programs and everything else, and they realize this is the way you get one. It's good PR for them because the people using Azure feel more confident that they are paying dearly for people to poke at it. So people who use Azure, I like a company that does that. You know what I mean? And they know it's a matter of time before they end up like AWS, who is named in some more lawsuits related to that whole Citibank. Even though it's not directly AWS's fault, they're going to be scrutinized for that.
Capital One.
Capital One. I said it wrong. Well,
No worries.
because it's my next article.
You know that's how you already know they're gonna correct you.
They're going to correct me.
You said Citibank. I freaked out. I didn't get the notice of breach.
Yep. So we'll get to that one. So let's see. What else do we have here? Oh, this was good too. So biometrics. Biometrics are something immutable. They are something which you are. They are not good for passwords. So data breach and biometric security platform affecting millions of users. And there's a pretty good list of companies in here. The VPN Mentor has a security research team, and they found a huge data breach from BioStar 2, a web-based biometric security smart lock platform. And they apparently do facial recognitions, fingerprinting to identify users, and lost all that data. Date discovered August 5th. Vendors contacted August 7th. Date of action August 13th, man. That's impressive. Now, that's only what basically they had. It sounds like, the usual exposed Elasticsearch. Have we heard this before? They put the big database of things and they had it all exposed on there. So another big, we don't know who downloaded it. If they're so bad that they just left things publicly exposed, trust me, they probably had no logging, no OPSEC. So they're like, I don't know if anyone copied it. I'm sure that was the answer here. Yeah. One of the surprising aspects is how unsecured account passwords were accessed. Plenty of accounts had ridiculously simple passwords, like password and ABCD1234.
Oh boy.
It's always fun seeing everybody's passwords.
The list still works.
Yeah, that's a sad part. There's a couple. Let's see. We had Phoenix Medical Center, medical products manufacturer. Their data was in there. Litz Link Software Development Consultancy, Union Member House, something called Uptown in Indonesia, Power World Gyms in Sri Lanka. There's just a lot of companies that data, because they knew who this data belonged to, which is Identibase, data belonging to the supplier of commercial ID and access card printing technology. This is another big mess because they have not just data, they have some like biometric data collected. Yeah. So it's not just your social security number, it's you. It's some physical representations of you collected.
What I would say is if you even remotely run or administer or even are administrator in an environment in which these Elasticsearch instances are running.
Yeah.
Go check to see if they're publicly accessible from outside of your network or from IP addresses that are not trusted.
Yeah, and I think that's a lot of it. They just throw it in AWS because if you've ever used any of the Elasticsearch, when you have big databases, it's CPU intensive to say the least. I mean, that T-Mobile honeypot you have has that in there. And it's just that when I spun it up locally, it pinned all my processors. I'm like, whoa, this thing's heavy.
Yep, it's running like 9 containers, too.
Yeah, you got 9 containers plus the Elasticsearch.
Yeah, that's heavy.
Yeah, and the same thing, I've played with Security Onion and some of those tools. Same reason Security Onion tells you to run it on beefy, solid, really fast hardware, because once you start doing the pivots through the Elasticsearch kit, drilling down through data, it can parse through data only as fast as the processor, and there's a lot of data when you're doing full packet capture. So anyways, these things are intensive. They get pulled up in AWS, and no one's really taken the time to say, hey, did you make that publicly accessible? Did you filter that for only my IP address?
Right.
So it's
That's
another mess.
Yeah, it's a mess.
Another fun mess. Now, speaking of that deep down thinking that you can get, I like this write-up here called Offensive Lateral Movement.
Ooh, yes, please.
Yes.
Ooh, yes, please. I love this.
This is really good. Lateral movement is the process of moving from one compromised host to another.
Yeah, this is like what I specialize in.
Yes.
Yeah, I love this.
Yeah.
Now, this person walks you through step by step each tool to use, why you would use it, what will be set off when you use that tool, and then they have a demo for each one. Then they start with like the tool, then they break down. The problem is it creates a service and runs as a base 64 encoded command, which will set off all sorts of alerts and generate logs. So then we moves on to what the next attack would be. The next attack, WMI, WNRM. Yeah, scheduled tasks.
These are all the ways to do escalation of privileges, by the way.
Yep. And that's what they're walking through is each step of escalation of privilege and what the pitfalls of that escalation are if it's being monitored and how you can get shut down. It's a really good write-up. I was like, wow, this walks you through. DCOM, remote file upload, and then some other miscellaneous MSHTAs.
Oh, those are really nice because I've never played with MSHTA or run DLL.
Well, yeah, and this is just a run DLL pulling from a JavaScript where you can actually pull and execute from a source all in one line.
Yep.
So you can have your payload, you have your website set up, you can drop it on there, and this has been a way to bypass a few different things that we've seen these type of attacks before.
This is a very good write-up. I would bookmark it.
Yeah, I better bookmark this one. I'm bookmarking it.
Like, really, like this is what we do every day.
Yeah, it's step by step, whole process. A great write up, and it just got posted the other day. I was like, wow, this is.
I think
it's in the show notes.
Yeah, no, I think our show notes are from last week.
We gave him the wrong show notes.
We gave him the wrong.
You
show
gave
notes.
me. I gave you.
We gave him the wrong show notes.
Oh. Okay, I'll update the show notes.
It's okay. You guys will get it by the time this comes out.
Yeah,
Sorry.
well, I'll edit it. I can edit this in real time, live.
Our live viewers want the show notes.
The live viewers want them.
Yeah.
All right, we got y'all.
Yeah, but a lot of this is important because
Excuse me.
it's nice you want to test this on systems that you are allowed to do this on, which means you have absolute permission, or they're just your systems. Therefore, you implicitly have permission.
And that doesn't mean just a server on the internet you found that was unlocked. That is not implied permission.
That is not just because they left the door unlocked. You can't come in.
Right. You can look though. You can look around.
You can
just
definitely
can't,
look.
You just can't cross.
And we're
the
not
threshold.
lawyers, so don't really.
Yeah.
Don't
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Oh man. So, back to the other stuff. Capital One, the gift that keeps on giving.
Itchy.
So, accused Capital One.
I had a
hacker-
drink to this.
Drink
Holy
to this
smokes.
one.
Dude. 30 other orgs. Am I on that list? Let's make sure I'm not on that list.
Yeah, I didn't see Xavier D. Johnson on the list here.
God.
But apparently, so the evidence recovered, and this is, they have to get the warrant. They get the warrant, and they found all kinds of goodies. Well, how do we know? Because now the warrant's been executed. Now some of this is becoming more to the public. So now we have the breach occurring, and that leading to a whole treasure trove of other collected companies.
Oh, boy.
30 of them. So, yeah.
Oh boy.
Yes.
Yeah, there was a lot more there. Apparently, there's also an arsenal of weapons and all kinds of stuff. So there was also
Wasn't she going to kill people?
so there was threats of violence against others. There was threats of violence against herself. Just everything was a mess. And basically, they talked about they knew there was access to guns because the person she was a roommate with had lots of them, had an arsenal of weapons. So there was you had an arsenal of weapons.
How many is an arsenal? Anything over 4?
That's a good question.
If anything over 4 is an arsenal, I have an arsenal.
I believe it's anything over 3.
Really?
Really?
Oh, I have an arsenal.
Yeah.
We
I have
all
a couple arsenals.
Small arsenals.
We got a couple.
My
arsenals.
family's lives in northern Michigan. They have
They have an
They have a
arsenal.
room.
I have a standing safe. Chink, 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 chink.
A guy from the Michigan militia told me if you can't touch your ammo standing up with just your hand,
Then you not
you
living
don't have
right.
enough ammo. You should be able to touch your ammo standing up, and your ammo should be coming off.
We'll go with that.
Till your house catch on fire and it's the whole block going off.
4th of
Yosemite
July. Fireworks at your house. Anyways, so it looks like the person is, I don't know what their plan was. I don't think they had a plan. We did talk the last time. They were clearly self-destructive. They were clearly, they put their resume in the same place they stored the breach data. They weren't trying to hide any of this. They bragged about it on social media. This is just further down the rabbit hole of someone who took opportunity and seized it to jump on all these companies. We still don't have the details exactly of the compromise.
Sheesh.
Xavier talked a little bit more in detail of how the AWS was compromised on last time, like at least the way we think it was done because of a certain way tokens are generated that people don't close.
Yep. So they had an application that they were running, and she abused that application and made the instance give its instance metadata, which gives the access keys. Now, one cool thing, maybe I should go digging for, and we could share in the show notes, is we have a list of all of the APIs that allow you to be able to get instance metadata back. So it's not only AWS that's vulnerable to this. And I wouldn't really call it a vulnerability. I would call the application developers at fault for having this this SSRF vulnerability, server-side request forgery. But yeah, that instance metadata is, it's definitely other places like Azure, GCP, DigitalOcean, Linode.
Yeah, it comes down to configuration, and I've seen a lot of people, throwing shade, going, "Oh, this is why you don't put things in the cloud." I'm like, no, this is why you don't put misconfigured things in the cloud.
Right.
Because look at all these RDP boxes getting popped right now. They're local. Those aren't usually running in the cloud. A lot of these are local vulnerabilities of people exposing it. It all comes down to misconfiguration and not secure practices. It doesn't matter where you're doing things insecurely. Obviously, the cloud lets you. It's insecurity at scale. So
it allows you to be able to replicate that bad practice quickly, automatically, over and over again. But with that same power comes the ability to be able to fix that as code, and then allow the automations to be able to deploy that out widely.
And, no details again on it, but because I didn't put it in the show notes because it's not worthy, so to speak, because there's not anything more than the same vague stuff we talked about before. All these MSPs, more MSPs got breached, more got popped, and it was all the same story again over and over. Each one of these, they really said, and I was talking to Hunter Sabs, I mean, they're just they're as blatant as they can be. Like, look, you guys have to turn on 2FA. It's not optional, and every time that he's dealing with a breach, it's the same story over and over again. No 2FA, reuse passwords. It's just like, well, it's another day. It's hardly anything newsworthy anymore. It's because it's such an obvious problem. These people are supposed to be security vendors. They're supposed to be protecting these clients, and they're the source of the breach. It's like every week it seems like another MSP gets popped. Some other IT provider got popped for insecure practices.
I'm just trying to stay off that list.
Yeah, I did hear. I did hear from a breach guy. He does breach mitigation. I asked him this. He described his job in the best way I think I've ever heard that particular job described. As I said before, he told me exactly what he did. He says, "Well, I learned he was a breach guy," and I was like, "Well, how would you describe your job?" He goes, "Well, I'm just like a high-priced call girl, except you call me after you're screwed." I was like, "Oh," he goes, He goes, "It's just how it is, man. This is."
Sheesh.
I'm like, that pretty much sums it up. You don't want to have to call the breach teams.
I dropped the link in the Keybase about the GitHub being sued for
Oh,
aiding
let's
and
look at
hacking
that.
in the Capital One breach.
So
what happened
GitHub
was-
is getting sued
Yeah.
for aiding in the breach of Capital One, which I can't see why.
So the lawsuit claims that GitHub failed to detect stolen data.
How do you know if the data is stolen or not?
Yeah, that's I'm jumping on the article now.
Good luck with that.
I think it's one of those things. Lawyers will figure out a way to.
And it claims that GitHub actively encouraged hacking.
How?
Because the
aiding-
repository was named Awesome Hacking.
What does it have to do with anything? I'm sorry.
I'm laughing that it was named Awesome Hacking.
This is like... this has
And that's
nothing-
typical childishness that as people who are hacking, we do things like call it awesome hacker stuff. Like,
I mean, I wouldn't put any of this stuff on GitHub personally.
well, you're not going to put your breach contents unless you are mentally ill in the same spot you have your resume. Here's my resume. If you wanted to hire me, oh, by the way, look what I did. Here's like a few 100,000 social security numbers and names from Capital One.
Jeez.
That's interesting. At class action lawsuit. This is back to the people not understanding technology, and lawyers figuring out a way to profit from it. The only people who win in these cases are a bunch of lawyers.
Yeah.
Because there's a team of lawyers suing GitHub on a class action basis. There's a team of lawyers defending GitHub.
Yeah.
In the end, a lot of lawyers make a lot of money, and maybe if there's some win, you'll get $1. If you're on the class action side, you get like $1. I remember Verizon getting sued. I got my $5 or something like that after Verizon screwed us all. My mortgage company got sued. I was allegedly going to get like several $100s for mismanagement of funds for my mortgage company. I think in the end, I got a check for $8 or something stupid.
Uh-oh. Moral of the story is just be a fucking lawyer. Done.
Dude, I've been watching that show Billions. It just makes you want to be a lawyer.
Just be a lawyer. Like, being a lawyer, it's cool. You get to argue with people. You get paid to argue with people.
You get paid to... Like, I argue with people on the internet all the time, and that doesn't make me any money.
You don't even answer the phone. $200, please. Thank you.
$200.
I'm not even answering the phone. I don't even talk to you.
I was actually at one of the law firms as my clients, and I think they're $4.50 an hour. I seen is what they said they charge. So they're commercial.
Be a lawyer.
Yeah.
Go ahead, spend that $300,000. Get past that bar. You're gonna make that back in 1 year.
Mm-hmm. Just a retainer. Just a, you know.
Oh, you doing bad stuff? Okay, well, give me $50K so I can get you out of jail.
So I'm always on deck for you 24/7.
Mm-hmm. Oh, but when you call me, you know that $50K was for the phone call.
Yeah.
I need another $50K to get the case started.
To get the paperwork rolling.
We gonna talk about it. We got to go to trial.
Yeah. So be a lawyer. That's the moral of all of this. Just be a lawyer. Get out of IT.
I'm literally working on being a lawyer at some point in my life. I mean, you argue with computers long enough, you feel like you can beat up on people.
That might be an interesting thing, though. Just in general.
I'm about to be in court like, Your Honor, single quote, 1 equals 1. Drop tables.
Lawyer drop tables. Now, I love this. I love the name. I love everything about this.
Hack in the box.
WarShipping.
Yes.
WarShipping.
So, do you see what they did here? This is
Yep.
a beautiful thing.
Makes sense.
How do I pen test and show up? Well, all I got to do is have something that you want on the wall. This dates back to something we talked about before. Was the old spy games from the 50s, 60s, Cold War era, CIA. This is neat. Send them a thing. You've got a Raspberry Pi Zero W. You've got a Wi-Fi scanner. You got a 4G LTE system, so you can get out without connecting to your network.
Huge battery.
Just pop a battery in there. So you just got to mail a package every so now and then, and you just tape this to the bottom. This is so thin, you can have like a false bottom in a box, or a false bottom to whatever you sent them. A painting, a whatever to hang on the wall, and no one knows what to do with it. No one wants to throw it away right away, so they kind of keep it hanging out the office going, I don't know who this goes to. So it just kind of hangs out the office, and while the whole time it's poning you.
Next thing you know, I'm moving laterally through your network. Because I only need to be on your network for like 30 minutes till I can move laterally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and here's the thing. This is being seen more and more. And I really think this is an important aspect of it. So you're using your firewall. You're watching for all egresses. You've got anything going to an RU domain flagged as that's dangerous. But how do you track a cell phone signal? You don't. And I say that very, the only policy, and this goes into some government buildings, this is why they have a no cell phone policy. They zap out the cell phones because they don't want anything transmitting out. That's the only way to do it, is to block everybody's cell phone access.
And that's only governments, because they can get the FCC to allow them to do that.
Yes. It's very not easy to block cell phone for one. It's very illegal to disrupt without special permission from the FCC to do so. This is how people got in trouble for things like cell phone jammers. Because for a little while in New York, people got mad in the early days of cell phone because they would hit jam in the subways.
Yeah. And
it's rude to talk loudly on your phone while you're standing in the subway. So someone thought it'd be fun, and I remember that being in the one of the issues of 2600 magazine, is how cheap it was to build things that just basically made noise in the spectrum to the point that the phones couldn't make calls. But then they said that's disrupting and turned into a legal battle.
Shout out to Radio Shack.
Yeah. Yeah, it wouldn't take much. It's even cheaper to do now today than it was before.
Yeah.
But so with that being said, these things are going out over cellular. They can be doing things like a Wi-Fi pineapple behavior, where they listen to the Wi-Fi, they make a fake version of the Wi-Fi, trying to get you to put your credentials in, trying to get into the Wi-Fi. It's all about gaining knowledge, surveillance, understanding what you're doing, because a lot of devices are going to be Wi-Fi. You bring your cell phone to work. You bring your laptop. Matter of fact, we're seeing more and more companies on if you follow me on Twitter, the big install we did is because this is a big manufacturing company that all the designers have laptops. So everything we put in was the faster 3x3 high-speed MIMO. Someone said, why is there so many Wi-Fi devices for one company? I said, it's because everyone works on a laptop there. That's like their new way they work. So there's not that much hardline going on. So it's getting that access, figuring out what that credentials are, being able to spoof those credentials later means they have all kinds of great reconnaissance before they did anything. And I mean, overall, this is what, $200 worth of parts, the most for everything in this picture.
Yeah.
But that's still a pretty pricey reconnaissance.
It's much less than that.
We'll see.
That Raspberry Pi W0 is like $5.
Yeah, the Pi Zero W is a cheap box. So let's say you buy the kit for $20 with a couple accessories here, like the OTG cable, things like that. But where you pay a little bit more, it's going to be for the 4G box, like an LT connector. Yeah. That's a good $30-$40 for something like that. That's still plus the service.
Under $100 for sure.
Yeah, it's still pretty. Oh yeah, it actually says for under 100. Okay,
Where?
It says right at the very top of the article. So
there you
you're
go.
Right. Yeah, there you go. So
I've been playing around with this kind of stuff. But this is like my kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys are fans and actually are part of the squad, shout out to the gang. You know, y'all know I love. Y'all know I love supply chain attacks, and this is like something that I may catch a felony for because I must do this. I must do this.
Remember we were doing the OPSEC and we saw the boxes.
Yeah, bro. They sat there
for hours. So imagine this device sitting in your office building or wherever.
It's
for
going
hours.
to. No. Most of the time, your packages are going to sit there for a day or two before the package person brings it up to like the actual. Yeah.
I like that they stuck it in a stuffed duck. Mm-hmm. That'd be a great way to do this too. Do some branded swag. There's.
Hold on, don't give away too much.
No,
don't give away too much. Don't give away too much.
Above, just outside of view over here, I have a shelf. If you've ever seen my wide-angle vision studio, if someone sends me swag, it often ends up on the shelf, and I could be being pwned by swag that's been sent to me.
Yeah.
There's a suspicious Doctor Who call box over there that someone 3D printed. I should look inside of it.
Remember the clock we mentioned that sat in the office?
Yep.
The Russian clock.
The Russian clock that sat in the office. Wait a minute. FreeNAS, they sent me some swag over here. They, squeeze that. Make sure there's nothing in there. We gotta get an RF meter.
Break that shit. Hold on now.
So
this is a little motherboard pop out the side.
Motherboard pops out. Raspberry Pi Zero in there. Right. Anyways,
I'm taking off at that point. It's time to go.
But yeah, WarShipping. That's basically
WarShipping.
I love the name of that.
It's an easier version of war driving.
Yeah, I like that a whole lot.
Why war drive when you can warship?
You just send it to
cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just fun.
I'm gonna have to play with that.
Yeah, we definitely.
I like that a whole lot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you could send it somewhere and then just start getting reconnaissance back.
I just feel like at what point is it breaking the law? Like at what point have I broken the law? I just need to consult legal advice to figure out, have I broken the law?
Never break. Just bend as much as possible.
Look, I just need to find the line.
Well, what I've realized, because I'm in my 40s now, is I'm still not old enough to know better, but I can afford a good attorney. So.
Hey.
I'm neither.
Yeah. Should we mention some company in Detroit at all?
Oh, yes, we should.
Yeah.
Does anybody know who we're talking about?
Who can guess?
Who can guess the company from Detroit that's worth billions of dollars that took 2 or 3 months to let us know that they were breached? Can anyone guess? I'm going to give you a moment here.
Give us all a moment. Just,
Anybody in the chat? I know it's a little delayed.
There's a little delay we're going to see. I got the article pulled up. It's,
Let's see if anybody gets it.
Can we guess what company it is? Is that a hint?
No.
Does anyone know?
It starts with the letter of my first name. Not Quicken.
People saying Quicken. People saying GM.
You're really close there.
No self said GM.
They're definitely in the FOC family of companies.
Not Ford.
Keep going.
Keep going.
Mm-hmm. How do you guys not know this?
It's one of the biggest newer companies. Not one of the.
As a matter of fact, we talked about a related industry. Posh was it
Lawrence Tech?
No.
If it was Lawrence Tech, we would be in here hacking back right now.
What do you have? What is that company called? Posh? that got busted?
Yeah, Posh.
Yeah, they got busted. Let's just say it's related.
Poshmark.
Yeah, Poshmark. That's it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess we've given enough time.
yeah.
We just can't have dead air.
Dead air.
Sneakerheads are really upset about
That
this.
sounds like an amazing metal band.
Dead
Air.
So apparently, people now know your passwords and your shoe size and your preferences on StockX, and this is not good. So this is not just bad. This is MD5 bad.
Yeah.
This is 2004 bad.
Well, here's where I kind of have a question about this, and full disclosure, we have had the StockX people. We are going to be hanging out with people who may be at StockX at the next Detroit meet.
We are
We are friends with
people.
StockX people.
Yeah.
I being very transparent here. I talked to StockX about their security for months at a time. I done everything I possibly can to help them. We have been sponsored by them as DC313.
Yes, StockX has sponsored DC313. There's some
You knew about
crossover.
these vulnerabilities for
I
at least a year?
showed them things. They still have things.
This is the part that kind of blew my mind. This is the sad part. So StockX was evaluated at $1 billion. So they have $1 billion+ valuation. They are not publicly traded. So this is all just private worth of the company, which is really impressive. They've grown the brand. They founded in 2015, but the 6.8 million users were for sale for only $300.
Hey, what a steal.
That's a steal.
What a steal.
Apparently, as much
Creds
as
are cheap now.
What's that?
Creds are cheap.
Well, creds are cheap,
Super.
but you'd figure being sneakerheads that because the value of what you know about them, because actually not their creds, the creds are whatever. Creds,
creds.
it's probably like knowing some sneakerhead information because StockX is worth $1 billion because people like sneakers. So you think that the information of those people like targeted, like it's not some other hackers buying this. It's like advertising agencies.
Yeah,
Like whenever
definitely.
they have any company that is selling a brand that they want, because you can extrapolate really quickly as an ad agency going, if they like expensive sneakers, they like this line of clothing. They like this line of
Sneaker
higher
cleaner.
end.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, either accessories related to that, but you can kind of build a demographic. And by the way, if there are people who are interested in spending $1,000, $2,000 on some high end sneakers, and that's the kind of information that was leaked there. you know what products you want to put in front of those people. So
When they buying that bust down Rolly,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? For $100K on there.
Yeah, so
You
I thought
already
that
know
was
to hit 'em up like, would you like your SL65 AMG detailed for $350?
yeah. Now
I know you would.
the reason I bring up MD5 is also, please note, when did I say that company was founded? 2015, not 2005.
2015.
2015, they already had deprecated MD5. Now, granted, they salted it. I think MD5 went out of style in like 2012, maybe.
Before.
Yeah, I mean, like before it became like official, like you should not be doing
Yeah,
this.
right. Right.
Like it was out of style before then, but
You're right. At about 2012, it's like, if you're still doing this,
yeah.
why
because
are you in business?
If I'm not mistaken, 2012 is when they really started pushing for Bcrypt,
Right.
and things that. Either way, several years before the founding of the company, and the reason they're worth $1 billion, they have a ton of capital and seed money. At some point, you do inconvenience your 6.8 million users and go, yo, password reset time because we're rehashing everything. Even Yahoo did this. They pushed out, you can't just swap from MD5 to Bcrypt. There's not like a direct translation because you have to rehash the password. That means you have to send out password resets. People sometimes are understanding of this and sometimes they're not. But still, you send it out. The active users who care about the product and care about your service will deal with it and go, oh, fine, I'll reset my password. Yeah, you're moving to something technical's happening on the back end. I get it. Great. It's not a breach. It's to help to prevent this breach. But yeah, I'm like, they weren't doing that. And some decision was made, and this is a culture problem. There was a decision made sometime of how much would it inconvenience our users. How would that look to the venture capitalists that want to fling us? We're trying to break this, we gotta join that 3 comma club. And anything that slows them down, like putting more security in, not necessarily as an expense, but more as a convenience. I'm going to say that they do spend decently on a lot of things there in terms of that. Their media creation team is top notch. Oh, yeah. I did a video on my channel where me and Anthony, prior to even knowing this, we talked about how solid some of the teams are.
But they
at
spend
StockX.
$0 on security. Whopping zero.
Whopping.
Zero. They don't have a security team. They don't have a CIO. They do have a CIO. They don't have a CISO, right? So it's like
and this comes down to the corporate structure was set up and the culture related around it. So
they are hyper growth. They want to do features. It's not until they get spanked will they be wanting to do security. And so now they should have appetite for it.
Yeah,
I've reached out to them. I haven't gotten any responses because maybe it's like we don't want to talk to the person that's going to tell me I told you so. But like, if you only let me help you, then I can help you. But otherwise, I don't care. It's not my equity. It's not budget, my company.
Bro. It's not in the budget.
Right? Yeah. Like, I have my own company's battles to fight, right? I have my own company to keep out of the news.
And this is they got to fix it. They do possibly are facing some GDPR fines,
and that's like up to 4% of the company's worth, right?
Yeah, 4% of the company's worth. So
which 1.5 billion times 0.04.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's not going to be fun, bro. That's going to hurt. That's not going to really feel good.
It's actually, and that's the point of GDPR. The fine is actually going to exceed what it would have cost you to rehash those passwords. And we still don't have every detail of what happened, exactly how the data was extracted, but obviously it was, so there's some holes somewhere. Because there's not many details on the breach, and everyone, trust me, we may know a lot of people, ain't nobody saying nothing.
Well, you can't. They can't.
They can't. They're not going to.
Understandable.
Yeah.
They shouldn't. Because who knows if it's even passed yet?
That could be too. How did that data leave? Did it leave from go out the back door? Was it a public exposure? Did an employee take it because of bad internal OPSEC? We don't have those answers.
Could have totally been an internal insider threat.
Insider threat. Either way, it happened, and they gotta tighten up whatever that hole is. So I think this is the last of the stories I got.
Well, I got one more.
Okay, cool.
Something.
Something recent. Something.
Yeah. A new crypto miner. It was hijacking 500,000 PCs.
Smonerino?
Yeah.
Smonerino?
Yep.
What is it called?
Touch on that?
Smonerino. Let me look that up real quick. That looks interesting.
And so now it's not only infecting the PCs to mine crypto data, it's actually now stealing user information from the computers that it has. I dropped it in Keybase.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yep.
Perfect.
Why does it always got to be on the dark web?
So it's shifting from a crypto miner to data stealer.
You know, the government tried to ban my bro off the dark web. He had to download the Tor browser to get back in. He had to go get a VPN.
That's crazy. It was that easy for him to subdue the government by just downloading the browser.
That was so funny. It's a song by TJX6 from Detroit. Scam music. Scammers are always so funny. It's funny because, like, the scammers are all, like, talking about hackery stuff.
Yeah. So,
like, when you hear the scammer rap music, you're like, wow, I actually do have to use Tor browser to get on the dark web. But not for these reasons that you are.
Exactly.
I'm here for the samples.
Oh, good times, good times.
So you want to talk about it? What do you got?
Oh, I just want to mention it.
How did it happen, though? Like, how are they getting on? What vulnerabilities are they taking advantage of? You're not talking about it?
No, this is interesting. So I get it now.
They're using Mirai?
No, so Solana appears to be going far beyond crypto mining. Is now also seeking to steal information from vulnerable targets.
So they're using it as a framework now.
Right. The malware has been upgraded with a secondary component that steals system data in what the researchers call access mining.
There you go.
That's the part we were looking for.
That's hot.
Yeah. So
XMR rig?
Yep. XMR rig.
Ooh, man. So
basically, they mine you first, and if they realize you're a high value target, they're like, "Oh, you don't just you actually have something I want," and then they'll upscale.
But the first step it takes is brute forcing weak credentials.
Oh, of course, yeah. That's the first thing I want to do.
Yep, it looks like used, and it also is sped by Mirai. You nailed it. So that's another way, one of it, but also brute force. Yep. They have a multi-vectored attack.
Mirai is just is a framework itself. A lot of these, a lot of malwares have just become frameworks that people are using to leverage and spread, and it's which is kind of good for us as defenders because they have signatures.
And I'm going to take a second here. There are 57 people. Thank you for showing up, but there's not 57 likes. So can you guys that helps. Look, our world is driven by algorithms.
Yes.
It determines our worth and value as people, apparently.
This is very
or at least
true.
Our popularity on YouTube. So if we can get a couple of you to click that button, that'd be awesome.
Please. We're trying to get like monetized and stuff.
Oh, the European Central Bank. Hold on, I do have that one because I tweeted it the other day. It's
the European Central Bank. Is that in what country is that in?
Germany.
Oh, it's in Germany. Okay.
It's in Germany. Oh, and
so it's not in Luxembourg?
Not in Luxembourg.
Because that's where all of Europe's banks are. It's literally just a town of banks and farms.
Yes.
And no other industry.
So this is interesting. I tweeted about this, and I forgot to add it to the show notes. And this is, was updated hours ago. European Central Bank confirms hack and shuts down their website. Now, this is where indicators of compromise are so important. This is one of the reasons I use Huntress Labs for our clients. The hack dated, the found indicator of compromise dated back to December of 2018. Wow. They only now discovered it like days ago, but it all started in December. So they had their systems pwned for what, 8 months, 8.5 months, roughly 8 months. Let's say 8 months. That's a long time for people to be hanging out in your system. Who knows what all they got? Who knows what all they erased their trail? But this is why it's so important to have all your systems monitored for indicators of compromise, IOCs as they're called in our industry, because you want to know if someone got in there.
Yep.
That is just huge.
Yes, it is huge.
So that's
Are we getting a channel logo anytime soon?
Yeah.
I mean, if you go to howtheygothacked.com, you'll see our channel logo.
Yeah, and I got to bring it down. We're working on that social aspect of things. Right now, we're trying to get the people here.
Yeah.
And when the people are here, then we'll do the other stuff.
Busting out all the good content. We got so much stuff for you guys.
Just go to howthegothacked.com.
In Red Team Clothing.
Watch all
shirts.
of the videos.
You got to have good shirts while you're watching this.
Speaking of shirts, I don't know if everybody saw my shirt. This is my DEF CON 27 shirt here. One of them.
Hey.
I have a bunch of them, so you'll start to see them be rotated. You know what I'm saying? Hold on, real quick. Let me get the drippage all the way together for y'all, real quick, so y'all can understand the full drip. Hold on now.
Yep.
Hold on now. Get the drip together now. Hold on.
We might have some StockX customers here. I'm barefoot, so
there you go.
I don't like shoes much. At all.
That European bank hack, I noticed whenever it's a bank hack, the hackers are usually in their systems for a while. Like the World Bank that we read about, where the hackers were in there for at least a year before they started to even execute the attack. They just want to, do a lot of reconnaissance, see the processes and procedures that, what happens, so you don't do anything that looks out of the ordinary.
Plus, people don't realize how large bank networks are.
And how complicated they are.
These are the largest networks on the planet Earth, and they have, oh my God, so many different pieces of infrastructure connected to these networks. It's like
they're not easy to secure. I mean, being a bank guy, being bank security engineer, wow.
I know the VP of cybersecurity over at JP Morgan Chase, and he's got a really hard job, and he's constantly hiring red teamers. So, it's just the infinite amount of churn. He's like, I'll take whoever at this point. Like, are they willing to move to Texas? Are they willing to move to Ohio? Right? Because I need people right now that are going to break me and fix me. It's just crazy out here right now. And it's like, there's so many domains, right? So you got the applications. Banks have a lot of applications. Tons. They have applications that you don't see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? So
there's so many, and there's a lot, because full disclosure as well, my wife she's a small business banker for a banking, so she's worked in the banking industry for a little while now. There's a lot of things, there's a lot of pieces that have to be touched, there's a lot of things, because she does ACH or wire transfers. Mm-hmm. These are really old, tried and true systems, and people are still poking at them all the time. They have physical layer securities that she goes through. Oh yeah. So there's an entire process. I mean, part of her even going into the bank, because when you open, even everyone that opens the bank, you don't just go walk in your job, hey, how's it going, Susan? It doesn't like that at all. There's an entire procedure she has to go through on the physical layer to keep everything secure. It's really interesting. I'm less interested, like, hey, cool, my wife passed her Series 7s, congratulations, she's can do all that. Not interesting to me. I'm like, what's your bank procedure for opening? Like, that's interesting. That I talked for her way more about than her Series 7s.
Yeah. One of the viewers said, any plans on tutorials on how to monitor for a breach?
I'll leave that up to Tom.
Yeah, I was going to recommend Tom for that.
Yeah, I'm working on in a couple things that are going to be happening. So It's not really a secret. So me and Kyle from Huntress Labs, we've been talking a lot. I did my studio tour, and I've been back and forth. We've been messaging. He really wants to get into content creation to talk about more about what he does, about how he finds these indicators of compromise and things like that. So he bought new cameras, new studio. He's bought some familiar equipment, and I've been helping him to set up exactly how we have things set up to make it easy for him to get things done. Mm-hmm. So you're going to see a lot more of that. I'm probably going to be doing some videos, and I may at some point in time talk to Kyle and see if I can make a trip down there to his office. I told him I'll go down there just for the hell of it to go set it all up. Like, have fun with him, do some live streams with him. But Kyle is great on the live stream. If you haven't seen, I've tweeted out before, but if you look up, they only have like a couple things posted, but they're working on doing it. They do security breach remediation. They do a lot of, they do blog posts about it, but now they're going to do videos about it, and they do some live Q&A streams too. So I love more and more people get into the game on this, and you know they're talking. What they're doing is live streams that are going to be debriefs on stuff they've worked on, research they've done. So that's going to be part of it too. I plan to get more into doing some of that. At some point, I am working on building my company so I can hire someone else that does more of what I do, so I can do more video work. So. Yeah, you're going to see more of it. It just takes time to get all that content together. As anyone who's tried to produce content knows, it's an intense job.
Yo, I want to share something with you guys that you probably hadn't heard about yet, or maybe you did. Apple Pay got hacked.
Really?
Apple Pay got hacked. Apple Pay got hacked. And I met the kid who hacked him, and he's an amazing kid. I took a picture with him. Very, very, very cool, down-to-earth person. And it was simple. And guess how they got hacked? The exact same way Capital One got hacked.
Oh, really?
SSRF to access keys. Thank you.
Did he do it as a disclosure?
Yep, he did as a disclosure. Then he got on stage at Black Hat. Then he got on stage at DEF CON, and he showed us all after it was fixed.
Right, nice.
Yep. So it was pretty cool. Just wanted to let you guys know that Apple Pay got broken, and sometimes you can break things.
What was he able to do?
He did the exact same thing that the Capital One hacker did. So he was able to get access keys by exploiting a server-side request forgery to be able to hit the metadata endpoint.
Oh, nice.
So what happens is I'll explain. This is exactly how they got hacked, right? So you know how you hooked me up with Ninja?
Yeah.
Ninja, great platform. If you want to sponsor me, I just paid you $8 today. I don't want to have to ever again. So basically, if you go into Ninja and you want to set up Apple Pay, you get this verification URI.
Yeah.
That Ninja gives you, that you plug into. You get your domain that you plug into Apple Pay, and Apple Pay says, "Hey, put this TXT file in the root of your server." And what Ninja does is it grabs, it grabs that and it posts it for you.
Okay.
And then Apple goes to that URI and actually visits it to make sure that it's a legitimate URI and that you own that server. Well, if you insert 169.254.169.254 /instance data /metadata, whatever, right?
It pulls that.
XML, it pulls that down for you.
Oh.
It just goes and does it. It's amazing.
That's a clever way to get around
It's
that.
an entire class of bug that's just everywhere, and it's going to be an interesting few years with everyone doing the lift and shift in the cloud and application security being harder and harder to do.
You know, I think that's why Apple, and I've seen this announcement right here, hack an iPhone, Apple will give you $1 million.
I told Mo about this 2 months ago. We had the private invite. Am I lying, Mo?
No, we did.
Had the private invite from the man himself over at Apple.
Yeah.
We did.
So Apple's realized, and it's not much to talk about. It's basically they're finally, coughing up real money for bug bounties is essentially what's going on there. So Microsoft's doing it, Apple's doing it, because Apple was not taking the bug bounty payout seriously. Companies like Zerodium were paying dearly, and by far way more than Apple was for it. So they were kind of making it enticing. So now Apple's going, well, I guess we should get in that game,
I mean,
to play.
I feel like it's kind of funny, especially since they drug. Was it GeoHot?
No, not Apple.
It wasn't Apple who drug.
Sony drug GeoHot through the mud.
Who reversed the first? Who jailbroke the first iPhone?
GeoHot. They went after him, but not as hard as Sony did.
Okay.
Sony just made more waves about it. Apple was certainly not happy about it.
Well, I could understand why Sony was so mad.
Yeah.
I mean,
But he made such a great rap about it. That was worth it.
Yeah. Yeah, when you think about Sony, you think about that PlayStation, man. That's a lot of DRM that you just broke.
Yeah.
You know, when you go buy the game early, when you download it, you actually have the game early.
The whole game.
FYI. So if you know how to break into that thing, you can play with the developers of the game.
I really want to do that.
I don't, because I don't have that kind of money.
Oh,
GeoHot apparently has money. He getting paid.
Oh yeah, he's got lots of money. I mean, I've done a few of his talks that he's got, and he talks about. I mean, he worked for Facebook, I think, for a little while, and a few other companies. Wow. Yeah, he took like some contract work that paid him dearly to do some research. So, and he's made that comment. He's not in it for the money. Like, he has his money. He set it aside. He's not trying to live a lavish life. So you can get paid this, and
I'll take your lavish lifestyle. Yeah. You know, like if it's just so hard to have, I'll take it for you. You know, Lamborghini trucks are fun. Oh, Tom. Guess who's in a car hacking now?
I seen all that.
Dun dun.
We're gonna poke at that Tesla.
So what I have here, while I have you guys, is a CAN tool that I got from my boy Justin. Shout out to Justin.
I like it.
This is the car hacking badge from last year at DEF CON. Here, I'll plug it up for you so you guys can see some of the coolness.
Fanciness of this.
This is from, like I said, last year. I have two more CAN tools that I went and purchased. One called a Machina M2. Another called a CAN Tact. Let's see if I want to bring this around for you guys.
He's going to bring it around and do that whole focus thing. Got to get it right in the middle and it'll focus on it.
Bring it around.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
Here's the
nice.
This is my favorite one. Ooh.
I like
toys. And it has...
That's a ODB2. ODB2 on there?
Yep. So,
that is sweet.
It's fun.
I like it.
A few different things that you can do with the badge, but...
yeah. Well, you know what maybe we should do is sit down and we'll do some car hacking talks. We'll sit down and do that because I think there's definitely a lot of interest in it. I don't think there's a ton of YouTube content on car hacking. There's some, but it'll be definitely something that'll be kind of fun to talk about, kind of fun to demo.
Yep. So I just wanted to let you guys know about that because I will be breaking Tom's car. And they will be patching it for him remotely, I'm assuming, or he'll have to go to Ohio. Yeah. Because we will be breaking into his car. Either it will be behind the dash, or it'll be under the dash, or any other number of CAN networks that car has. But I did learn some stuff about the Tesla. We can hack your Tesla.
Yes.
And we're going to. So that is my third CAN tool that I have. Thank you, Justin. I got a Hack RF on the way from Justin. I got a whole bench on the way from Justin. I've already hooked the CAN Tact up. I've already hooked the machine up.
I have a Bluetooth one of these too.
Very nice.
I like it.
I have a Bluetooth CAN tool.
Yeah.
A Bluetooth OBD2.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yep.
So how about this? The Machina M2 has an XB hat where I could do 4G. I could do low frequency radio. I could do Wi-Fi. I could do Zigbee, which is fun, right? So you could just drive down the block and reset everybody's smart meters.
Yes.
Nice.
Ooh, everybody's back down to zero today.
The Tesla Model 3...
We need it.
My Tesla Model 3, though, has a little bit of an interesting design. Not many cars, and I don't know if... I can't say that this is the only car, but I know it's among the very few. Tesla Model 3s do not have an ODB sensor.
Yes, they do.
They don't, actually. You have to get an adapter for one, a special one. There's a company that sells them, but they were allowed to produce cars. They had to get special permission to do this without this actual adapter. All the other Teslas have this adapter natively.
Oh, the Model 3 doesn't? Oh.
Right.
That's interesting because that's like...
They had to get special... I was reading an article about this.
That's like an emissions thing.
Yes. They had to get special permission not to have that because any other Tesla, you can just plug in the standard format port. And it's on all their other vehicles. It's still on their Model X and Model S, but it's not on the Model 3.
So this
you
is
can get it.
So this is what we do. Instead of even using the adapter, if you're like me, you want to splice into other CAN networks because your car has a series of CAN networks. And that OBD2 typically is dumbed down now, like after 2015. They kind of understand that people are going to be fucking around. So now what you do is you basically just rip the entire dash apart. You get a logic analyzer, oscilloscope, a multimeter, and you reverse engineer your way through all those cables. That's where it's gonna be a little painful for you.
Yeah. Oh no, it's interesting.
But once you're able to like play new games, we'll get your car to play Doom. Don't you want your car to play Doom?
The car has to play Doom.
It's gotta play Doom.
So I bring it up though because I was looking at this because there's some interesting information. Plus, there's a lot of reverse engineering. I found some really cool reverse engineering on the Tesla API. Which we will be talking about. There's some really cool stuff that I'm probably going to need your help to set up. So
Let's do it.
We'll be talking about that. The car apparently has a lot of data feeds that it's giving to Tesla that you can then go to Tesla with my API token and then pull back down. And people set up these Docker images to start feeding their data. So even though this app pulls a very limited amount of data on my phone,
there's more,
way more available. And people have been documenting all the different codes. Basically, you're just fuzzing it until they get it.
I want to play.
Yeah, so but
if you're part of the developer program, right?
Not yet.
Okay, so when you do, let me know because they'll flash your car back for you, right?
Yep.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
So
I gotta find out how to get part of that.
We're going to play. We're going to do some content for you. I am promising you. I have already spent the money in anticipation of Tom. It's not for me because I lease. If I fuck my truck up, I'm fucked. like badly, right? I got a 2011 Malibu, but it's only so much fun to be had there. Tom's car has an API.
Yes.
And a HAL. I want to control the HAL.
Yes.
I want to just be driving down the road in the house like, oh, you want to brake? Let's play a game.
So there's been
stop the car.
And if you haven't seen this is really impressive. Someone reverse engineer. So I have not done it yet. My friend Chris did though, the Tesla USB project that takes all the cam recordings, puts them on a Raspberry Pi Zero W, and so whenever you connect to your local network, it downloads all the files because the cameras are recording, but you can't view them on the screen. It records them to a USB. Someone took that a step further, and they got one of those Jetson boards. If you haven't seen those, they're the mini micro boards with the AI. They support like the Python AI scripts.
Okay.
They used it and built a whole license plate recognition system off it. So when your car is driving, it's about a $750 kit. You plug this in, it grabs all the car's telemetry feeds, including all the cameras, and it can grab all that data and watch all the license plates around you, create a list of cars around you. It uses, this guy put together a lot of stuff. It's all open source too.
Ooh,
so
let's play.
Yes, there's a few different things to play with. It actually turns your car into your own personal surveillance system while you're driving.
And so what Tom said before we got on camera, said he was going to buy me and Mo Teslas. No, I'm joking. I think that we're going to actually start to get deeper into this car hacking stuff and get to the point where we're like buying the $10,000 Tesla just for the wiring harness, right? Like I'm wanting to go to pull apart, cars just so that I can have test benches,
right?
And then we can just start reselling them. Like,
go to Copart, grab some.
Yeah. Well, and and related to that, I think I show. I show you. My friend with the dealer's license says I can use his dealer's license to buy any of those wrecked ones.
Yep.
Okay. You can buy wrecked ones, but the computers work. It's like
hail damaged.
Yeah.
I want a hail damaged one just to have a hail damaged one. You get a $30,000 Model S just because it has dents. Yes, please. That just means that I'm not going to care about hitting things.
Yep. And that means it's okay to park it in Detroit.
Break my window, bro. I'm here for it.
I don't want a hell damaged Tesla.
Yeah, he wants a nice Tesla. I want a Tesla that I could beat the shit out of.
I want a Tesla rat rod, man.
Yeah, I want to just cut the fucking top off, have a convertible Tesla, make a truckla.
Yeah, make a truckla.
Did you see the girl who made it?
Yeah. There's a guy who's got a truckla too.
Yep.
Wow. Yeah, and his has air ride. Yeah, EV West.
EV West. I love EV West.
He dump it. It goes.
The Hoonigan team did a couple of videos.
It's amazing.
It was great.
He smashed it the first time, but he just did one this week where it was nice.
Does it still work as intended?
Oh, it works way better. Way better.
So much better.
You gotta watch the Hoonigan video with them.
All right.
All you hear is just tire. It's just screech the whole time. It's amazing.
Yeah, you gotta see their Tesla powered M5 too.
And thank you to Chad for coming out to DC313. It was amazing meeting you. He's a fan. You should see some of his light work that he has. Can you pour me up some? He has some great Christmas lights that he does. Huge amount of LED array. Each LED pixel is addressable.
Nice.
He does automated. Automations for factories, right? So I think he's deep into packaging, but he's got some really cool lights. And if you ever get a chance to come to DC313, hopefully Chad is there and he'll show you some of his amazing light shows.
Someone asked what the place is. It is redteamclothing.com.
Woohoo!
Yeah, give a shout out. Someone says we're going to get some swag. Yeah. Xavier's got the hookup over here. So
there you go.
Well, Simone Getz did the Truckla, and so did EV West. Actually, type in EV West Hoonigan, the Hoonigan team, if you're not familiar with Ken Block and some of the cool stuff that he does. The Hoonigan channel, they did some fun videos with them, and they have a couple behind-the-scenes technical videos as well. So definitely some fun times there.
Very cool stuff. Makes you want to have a Tesla. But any car will do, really.
Fast cars are fun.
Yeah. I mean, I'm to the point now where if my car doesn't have a CAN bus that can make me do cool stuff, then I'm like, I'm not here for it. Because I'm trying to figure out if I'm on the CAN, right? If I'm on the CAN network that the car's modem is on, can I start to ping other things that are on that subnet, right? Like from my CAN. So like, can I use my CAN as an attack proxy? Like, oh, I found all the other Teslas in the world. Let's see if I can make them all drive to me now. Summon.
Yeah.
They all just start driving.
Tesla does seem to have some limitations on that seem to be in place, but that's where we got to poke. What are those limitations?
This is where the $1 million bugs come from.
This is where the $1 million bugs come from.
Right?
And
like if the FCC comes and knocks on the door, maybe we'll need that $1 million so that we can pay for lawyers.
Fun times. So I think that's it. Do you have any movie recommendations? I started watching.
DEF CON has a movie. Go check out the DEF CON movie.
There we go.
DEF CON movie.
There you go. That's a good, appropriate movie for
this
week.
It is a really good movie. There's a way for you to be able to see DEF CON without going to DEF CON, without being afraid, because DEF CON is scary. The networks are very hostile. The people are germ-filled.
Yeah, there's viruses all the way around, physical,
Speaking of which, here's the badge from this year. Look at that. This little, not this Motorola thing, but this thing right here. This is a beautiful piece of quartz that has some NFC capabilities. You had to get within 6 inches of other people. And after you do so many of these connections, you'll be able to win the game or it unlocks or something, right? I don't know.
You have to get this many germs from this many people.
Basically. Yeah.
That's why he's sick now.
I'm like halfway sick. It's a half-ass sick too. Like I'm not really sick. I'm not like sick. I'm just like every once in a while. You know?
Yeah, the whole con crud. That's I know
crud.
I got 2 of them I'm supposed to go to.
I'm supposed to go to good con crud, ain't it?
I'm supposed to go to an IT event in Florida and another one in New York, and I'm like, It's like I like it's fun going there, but I know how you feel afterwards. It's just
shitty. It's okay though.
I mean, we could all take pointers from Howie Mandel. Just carry hand sanitizer. Give everyone a pound. No handshakes.
Get you. At the con you got a pound. You got a pound. But like in Vegas, for multiple reasons, having a mask.
Oh yeah.
Nobody hates you for it.
Nobody hates you for it. Actually, you're cooler because you're wearing a mask.
See the dirt at the end of the night that's collected.
I like to wear the all black mask because I don't even want to see the dirt because that shit's gonna freak you out when you realize how much cigarette smoke you walk through.
Oh
my god!
Yeah. I'm non-smoker, so that's
it's so bad.
Yeah,
that's the worst part about Vegas is like the cigarette smoke. Like I used to smoke cigarettes, and other people's cigarette smoke bothers me. It's like I think I'm pretty much sick off of cigarette smoke.
That'll do it.
My immune system is compromised.
I'm not into
cigarette
it.
Smoke.
Not into it.
But yeah.
That's it, man.
No self said I didn't even go and I'm sick. You got sick off of Twitter interaction. If you get a chance, follow me on Twitter. INFENET. That's my Twitter handle. And if you want me on Instagram to see all of those cool pictures, you can follow me at Xavier_Johnson or Infinite Development. I upload them both there. And if you want to know how to get into cybersecurity, because I get a lot of people to ask me, go to my Twitter, INFENET, Infinite, and you'll see my pinned tweet, which is a video that is so graciously hosted by Tom on his channel. That is how to get into cybersecurity with Chris Roberts.
It's great. He talks about how to get in, how to bypass HR.
Yes.
Hey.
And, it starts with some social engineering. That's definitely an aspect of getting into this.
Very much so. And Chris reshared it because he gets a lot of his questions. So go check it out. It's a very good video. That's my video recommendation.
I think that's it.
Just want to thank everyone for watching, especially my brother No Self, and shout out to the First Strike cybersecurity team.
Awesome. And shout out to the people that did click the like button. We have 38 now from 15. So.
The rest are Russian troll bots.
Russ, I don't know who's watching. It's not clicking like. We still love you, but if you could click it, it'd be great.
Yeah. Yes.
If you have 2 accounts, you can click it twice.
Tell your friends to click it.
Hey, if you got a botnet of accounts, you can click it as many times as you like.
Oh.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, if you have a botnet YouTube account. Oh, yeah.
50 cents a like.
Did you guys see that on my Twitter? I posted a picture of a Asian man on a bike that had like 50 phones set up on a bicycle
To play Pokemon Go. Oh, while I was at DEF CON, I saw a talk about social media manipulation, and it was about social media botnets and how literally your computer was infected just to be used as a proxy to like things.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a real thing, and it was so sad because like you can pay to rent this quote unquote rent this botnet, right?
Yeah.
Pay for likes with a legitimate credit card, and you're using someone's computer. And like as a security researcher, I'm just like, wow, they really just rented a botnet and clear text.
That's why, sell your old cell phone. We're going to use it. Make a fake account. It's a real person. Like, the guy is a real person interacting, so it's not going to be like a machine where it can detect that it's a machine doing it. He's actually interacting with each phone every so often.
No, you're not even understanding. These cats just got an actual automated botnet that just infects browsers to use their browser
To like things.
like things. They're literally just using their computer as a proxy.
You know how much
So
you can
there's
charge?
one device that is looking like hundreds of thousands of devices.
That was one of my great episode of Dark Knight Diaries where they talk about that. They dive deep into how the rating systems on Apple and other iTunes systems are scammed so easily. They even learned he even goes into how the book systems of how the bestseller systems are scammed.
Right.
It's a mess. It's a mess for sure.
Bots. All right.
Bots.
That's it.
That's it.
Thank you very much.
Put the button by whenever you're ready to press it.
Uh-oh, here comes the infamous button press.